Mike, we are currently standing. Is it because we're so excited?
Yes, and so we're so excited that I couldn't possibly sit down while playing this game.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nick.
I'm Mike.
We are the Brothers Murph. Today we're going to be talking about games that make you stand up. So these are games that have some kind of big moment,
Yes.
usually. It could be a good moment, could be a bad moment, let's be honest.
You're going to leap out of your seat, though.
You're leaping out of your seat. I feel like those are the kind of games that make you remember things, that really create those kinds of stories, and really make us keep coming back to the games.
Yeah, I think it's like a magical thing that board games can do is create like these, again, core memories of gaming. I think we all have certain particular game plays that we remember, where we were, who was in it, what was going on. Those are really kind of amazing things that I think keep us going in this hobby. So here are games that we think really kind of create those moments. All right, first up here is going to be Rhino Heroes Super Battle. Dexterity games are fantastic for creating big moments. There's moments where you're literally standing up to try to reach to a thing and play stuff when things all come crashing down. It is epic and really fun and silly. Rhino Heroes Super Battle does that very well. This is from HABA, so this is a family weight game that is a follow-up to Rhino Hero, where now in Rhino Hero Super Battle, you have different superheroes that you each are, and if you ever land on the same level as another character, you roll dice to fight and you're knocking people down and ascending up higher. So there's just a little bit more chaos, especially because every time you have to move a hero and stuff, that's potentially a chance for you to make the whole card tower that you're building fall down. This game just creates really fun moments. It is truly fun for anyone to play. As adults, you can build these really cool things, but then you're gonna mess it up and it's just epic every time. The reason this game makes this list is in particular, we had one massive game of this going. We had used almost every card in the game. We had this huge interconnected structure, and then Nick was going to place, a card, and this is pretty precarious, and he takes a moment to center himself. He's fully on his feet already, leaning over a table, trying not to touch anything, and he takes a moment to take a clearing breath, and he goes, that much, and it blows the tower and starts wobbling, and then it all collapses. So he didn't even get to place the thing. He's left holding a card in his hand, like, what just happened? And like, the fact that he took so much time, was being so careful, and in doing that, he caused his own demise, was like a core memory of board games.
Number 9 is going to be Twilight Imperium, 4th edition, we'll say. 3rd edition, 2nd edition, whatever. Twilight Imperium is what it is. Man, Twilight Imperium, here's the thing. Twilight Imperium is not a game for me. I will fully say that. I have played Twilight Imperium. It's just not my kind of game. It just isn't, but I respect Twilight Imperium so much, and I'm so happy that it exists because it gives so many people so much joy, and I totally get why. And one of the main reasons is because it has those out-of-the-seat moments in droves, and every single game of Twilight Imperium creates stories and creates moments that you remember literally forever. Like, no one has ever played, like, we've all had a game where you played a game and then like a month later, so we're like, oh, like, what'd you do in that game? You're kind of like, I don't remember. I don't remember how that game went. I don't remember what you did, really, because it wasn't memorable. So that's never happened to TI4 or TI3 or whatever. If you've played TI4, you remember what it was like. It's this big, giant 4X game where you're trying to get to 10 points. You will have a faction. There are a whole bunch of different factions, especially with the expansions. All the factions are going to be totally different. They do different stuff. They want different parts of space. They have all these different abilities that only you have. There is a ton of negotiation in this game. You're making alliances. You're going back on those alliances. And of course, you're doing big battles. It's a big 4X space game, right? So of course, you're gathering up your troops and going and fighting other people, and that creates moments where you are standing up. The game that I played of it, there was literally a separate table that we had, That was 4 battles. So literally, whenever you wanted to do a battle, you literally had to get up, go over, and then do the battle over there because it was just, every battle was such a big deal. And there's so many of these games where like it's coming down to like this one big fight where you gathered all your stuff, they've got all their stuff, you're going to Mechatol Rex or somewhere else, and you're just being, this is gonna decide and give me those last 2 points to win the game. It's so epic. It's so incredible. Again, it's not a game for me, but I fully admit that this game is a masterpiece, and I am so grateful that it and other games like this exist, even if they're not for me, because they are for so many other people. And one of the main reasons is because they create those moments that you will remember forever.
Here's the thing. Chucking dice is fun. It is exciting. If you get a whole handful of dice, you're rolling them. The possibilities that come from all that randomized cube action is awesome. And a game that does it and does only this and adds like a Coliseum to boot is Strike. Strike is super fun. This is a fantastic convention game. Get as many people as you can possibly play max player count because you want as much kind of chaos as possible. This is a game where you are keeping guard of your horde of dice, which are your gladiators, and on a turn, you are going to roll 1 die into the arena, and if you make any of the dice in the middle have matches, 3 2s, for example, or whatever, you get to collect those dice and your turn is over. Now you have more dice in your hand, and you want dice because if you ever run out of dice, you are eliminated from the game. If you don't roll any matches, you can decide to stop and kind of take your losses, or you can decide to throw another die. If you don't make any matches, you can again choose to stop or roll another die. So you are kind of dealing with this like sunk cost fallacy of like, I've used 3 dice already. I really don't want to go away empty-handed, but if I keep bleeding out dice, eventually I'm going to run really low, and that could be dangerous. And so there's kind of like that fun level, but the extra kind of get out of your seat moment with this game happens that if ever the arena gets completely emptied for any reason, if all the dice come out of the arena, your turn is immediately over and the next player has to throw all of their dice into the arena, no matter what. And that's really fun. When you have that clearing moment and the arena clears, the next person has to throw all these dice, which is a do or die moment, because of course, if they don't roll any matches, they're out. That is where the game gets super exciting. This is so funny because people try to think of like strategic ways to play Strike. Like, I'm going to angle the die and it's going to roll around the Coliseum. It's going to knock into another die. It's going to make a match. And like, yeah, there's some truth to that. You can like throw dice in a somewhat strategic manner. But the point is that they are randomized. They are designed to come up with random outcomes. And so it's really funny to see people try to like put some English on it as if it's truly going to give them an edge. It may or may not, but I think the randomness of Strike is what makes it so much fun.
Sometimes you're out of your seat because you literally don't have time, and that is Rush MD. Rush MD is so much fun. I love Rush MD. Rush MD is so good. This is a real-time cooperative game where you are working in a hospital and you are trying to get patients in the hospital, figure out what's wrong with them, and then cure them and then get them out of there. And you have 4 minutes per round to do so. This is a simultaneous cooperative game that is timed. It's a real-time game. And that alone basically means you get out of your seat. You just kind of do stuff as quick as possible. That you end up like kind of like rising up in your chair to the point where you're just full out standing in this game. It's so much fun. It's so stressful. But like I said, this is a game where you're cooperatively working together and all of your workers, it's actually a worker placement game, are sand timers, 30-second sand timers. So whenever you go and take a worker and bring a patient over here to do this kind of test, you will flip over that sand timer, put it there, and then that worker cannot move until the sand timer is out. Every player rather, will have a doctor that's in their color. It'll be like if I'm the red player, I'll have the little red sand timer. And there's a whole bunch of different nurses, and anyone can use the nurses and move around the nurses, but only you can move your doctor. And of course, there are certain procedures that only doctors can do and certain procedures that only nurses can do. And so you kind of talk about, okay, so we're gonna have to do this, we're gonna have to do this, we're gonna have to do this, and then we're gonna go. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, boom, hit the 4-minute timer and then just start running. And it's so much fun because again, you get these patients in there, you bring them into the hospital. Some of them are like very easy. Oh, you give them a couple medications and then you get them out of there. And some are like, oh my God, it turns out they need surgery. And so you got to bring them in their little gurney to the surgery thing. You have to get various like organs in there. And the fun thing is like a lot of the game you have to do with these little tweezers. So, because you can't touch it with your hands, obviously, that'd be so unsafe. And so you have to like use these tweezers, like put things in there. If you want to give them medication, you have to put them in these like big plastic syringes. You're like taking these little pieces and like putting them in there all while the time is ticking. It's so much fun. But this is a game where you end up standing up even though you didn't really mean to, because you're just trying to reach and do stuff quickly and like wait for a sand tower to be done so you can move it over here and do this. It's just bananas. I absolutely love this game. It's not a game you can play every day. It's not a game you even want to play every month because it takes a lot out of you, but it's really, really fun.
Another game that can be super duper epic, and the first time I played this game is still probably a top 5 gaming experience ever, is Captain Sonar. This is, the idea of this is, you know, real-time battleship, essentially, where you are going to be playing on a team. Ideally, you play at the full 8-player count. You have 4 people per team. So everyone has their own specific role, their own kind of like mini game that they're playing. And the other team has their 4 roles and they're going to be doing the same. What's really fun about this is that everything is in real time, and you are going to be having to manage your own submarine and also be reacting to what your opponents are doing. So, for example, the captain role, they're going to be calling the shots. They're going to be saying where we're going to move. We're going to be moving north, we're going to be moving west, we're going to be moving west, we're going to be moving south. And you're moving around a shared, each of you has the same map, essentially. So we know, you know, what's kind of legally around and where islands are and things like that. So as you know, if I'm the captain, I'm calling out those directions. There's the kind of, you know, radio sonar person on the other side who's hearing me say those things, and they are writing on a kind of clear overlay sheet those directions to try, and then that thing can move around over the map. They're trying to figure out, like, okay, given the sequence of directions they've called out, where can they legally be? Because if I put it over here, no, they would have run into an island, so they can't be there. And you're kind of moving it around to figure out, like, where do I think these people are? And so you're having this fun thing of 2 captains at the same time calling out commands, 2 people on the opposite teams listening in on those commands and trying to, you know, relay, like, I think I know where they are. You have people that are loading and preparing your weapons and things like that, and a person who's kind of keeping the ship running because there's going to be damage and whatnot. The engineer's kind of having to keep things moving and take time to fix things as well. So what's really fun is if you ever think you know where the opponent is, you can basically call a quick stop, fire a torpedo if you know, to a certain location. If you hit, you deal them damage and stuff. There's times where you need to surface to be able to do a bunch of repairs. And the scary thing about that is when you surface, you're gonna get found out. To, you know, people will know where you are much more deterministically. So you have to kind of manage that. But if your ship isn't really kind of stuck in the water, you're gonna be dead before long anyhow. So just like the back and forth nature, people are calling stuff over each other and listening in and talking and trying to communicate with their teammates. It's just a really fun, frantic time. Again, I love playing at 8 players because there's just more kind of chaos going on. It is so fun. It's so fun at a convention, and I highly recommend it.
Number 5 is going to be Fireball Island, a game where you're chucking marbles at each other's characters. Of course, it'd be a game where you end up having those out of the seat moments because, man, I love Fireball Island. Fireball Island is just so good. So this is by Restoration Games, and what they do, hence their name, is they take games from kind of the past, restore them, and then bring them back. And they did that with Fireball Island. Fireball Island is one of the most popular games from like the 80s and 70s of just like this crazy game where you have Volcar in the middle and you're rolling, you know, marbles down these chutes trying to knock over each other's players. So Restoration Games came and remade it and made it like more of a proper game. Because Fireball Island, the old one, was kind of like one of those old kind of mass market games. Just kind of roll and move. You're not too many choices. Still very fun. But now it's a proper game with some more like modern hobby game mechanics to it. It's really, really fun. But it really comes down to a lot of times to like, you're gonna be fireballing each other, and you're basically going to be taking these different fireball marbles, dropping them down Volcar, and they'll go down these little chutes, hopefully knocking over your opponents. If you knock them over, you will get to take one of their treasures. You love that. You also have different fireballs that are like precariously perched around the board, and sometimes you just get to like flick one of those at someone trying to knock them over. Not to mention, as a bunch of fireballs are coming down, the whole board, purposefully so, shakes a lot. Like it's kind of this, I don't know, like injection molded plastic, but the plastic is not very heavy. So as things are moving down, it shakes the whole thing, which sometimes makes these fireballs like fall off their perches and then hit people. It's bonkers. In a game this bonkers, of course, is going to have things where you're just like, oh my gosh, are you kidding? How did that thing hit me? It's one of those games. It's the whole point of one of those games. It's like one of those games where I'm like, I don't like to gatekeep in any way, but it's like, if you're not just going to have silly fun in Fireball Island, play something else. Like, just play a different game. Like, this is one of the games where you just have to get into the chaos, get into the fun, the silliness, the standing up and being like, oh my gosh, what the heck? You just have to do that, or else just go play something else. It's totally fine if you don't want to do that, but don't play Fireball Island seriously. What's the point? Like, play something else. But nonetheless, it's one of those games that's literally built for this kind of thing, this kind of like standing up in arms, being upset, like reaching across the table, standing up to flick something at someone. It's just outstanding.
Next up is going to be the War of the Ring. This, of course, is a personal favorite of ours. We're huge fans of the Lord of the Rings. And the War of the Ring is basically Lord of the Rings in a box that you can play through. This game is epic. It's epic in scope. Of course, it must be. It's the battle for Middle-earth. You know, it's good versus evil and all that jazz. And so this game will create big moments every time because you have, you're amassing armies, you're moving them around, you're having your kind of central conflicts. If you're the free people, you're trying to sneak the fellowship further and further toward Mordor and Mount Doom to destroy the ring. There are going to be moments where members are going to leave the fellowship to maybe hop into a battle or something because they're going to be really valuable in this. And that's where this game becomes really fun, is that we are playing in a sandbox we're all pretty familiar with. We know the story of the Lord of the Rings. We know what characters go where and when and who survives and who doesn't. And in this game, you can change up things. You don't have to follow the book's rules. You can have Boromir survive and go all the way to the end and fight in Gondor in that kind of famous, last battle when you're protecting, going for the Black Gate and stuff. You can protect Minas Tirith. In the movies and books, of course, it doesn't quite go that way. So that's really cool. I love the way that new storylines emerge from a really familiar tale and world that we all know. So maybe a certain area that isn't really a hotspot in the books is now the central conflict of, this major battle happens where it wouldn't have happened, maybe in Helm's Deep in the books. And so like things like that I think are really cool. You're going to come down to this moment near the end. In particular, if someone's trying to destroy the ring and they're kind of going through this, multi-step process to do that, there's moments like that. There are moments where you have big dice rolls happening, people playing cards for their battle effects. There's just going to be these epic kind of, as they should be, these major wars and things that are happening. And so the fact that you have dice and stuff that you're rolling out to take your actions and all that just creates like a true sense of the epic scope of the Lord of the Rings. And I think that is really kind of magical that they were able to put that into a board game and then also let us be a little irreverent and play around with what kind of happens in our version of the story.
Number 3 is going to be King of Tokyo. A game that has dice rolling in it inherently is going to be more like stand-up worthy than a lot of other games, because dice rolls, particularly dice rolls that are you attacking someone else, is a big deal if something goes right, or if something goes wrong, let's be completely honest. But King of Tokyo is a wonderful game. That is one of my go-to like gateway games. I love teaching this game to new gamers who really have no experience in hobby games because it's just so good. This is a game where you're trying to be the king of Tokyo. You're these big like monsters, these big like kaiju. There's like Godzilla looking ones. There's like a big like robot bunny and stuff like that. All these giant kaijus, kind of Pacific Rim Godzilla type stuff. And you're trying to be the king of New York. And so you basically want your kaiju in New York. Not King of New York, King of Tokyo. King of New York is a different game. That's kind of a bigger, more gamery game that I actually like less than King of Tokyo. You're trying to be the King of Tokyo. So you're basically, you want your kaiju in Tokyo because when you go into Tokyo, you're going to gain a point. And then every round, you basically can stay in Tokyo. You're going to gain more and more and more points, which is how you win. But here's the problem. If you're in Tokyo, that means anytime people are rolling dice to attack, they are attacking you. They can only attack you in Tokyo. They can't attack anyone else. But when it comes to your turn and you're rolling and you're in Tokyo, you're then attacking everyone at the same time. So if you're in Tokyo and you roll like an absolute champ and you're just like decimating everyone's like, oh, just like ripping down buildings and decimating everyone, it feels so, so good. But it's very stressful because again, you're like, can I last long enough to stay in Tokyo so I can get some more points? Because at the end of any turn, you can choose to come out of Tokyo. If you do, whoever's turn it is, they are forced, they have no choice, they're forced to go into Tokyo. And so you can also like strategically duck out and make someone who has low health go in and hopefully knock them out of the game. It's just so fun. You're also gaining energy. These energy can get you these kind of like energy cards, which will allow you to do a whole bunch of different stuff. There is the power-up expansion, which gives every kaiju like their own powers, their own abilities, which is kind of like a necessary expansion. It's really, really, really good. Definitely play with the power-ups. It's great. Again, any game where you're just like rolling and trying to knock someone out, if you're in Tokyo and you're rolling, absolutely amazing. You're just standing up, screaming, so excited. It's absolutely wonderful. King of Tokyo is a classic.
Next up is going to be Ready, Set, Bet. This is a real-time horse race betting game. You're betting on the outcome of a horse race, or a few horse races. So what's really fun is to play this game as high energy as possible. And a way to do that is you have someone who's kind of the designated person who's calling the race. They are going to be rolling dice, and whatever dice number comes up, they're going to move the associated horses. You know, for a 7, it'll move the kind of middlemost track. There are, you know, basically numbers 2 through 12, every possible combination of a 2-die roll. And it's really fun to roll these dice, which are of course going to be random, and seeing, you know, this race progress. If someone rolls the same number 2 times in a row, that horse gets a bonus move. And the things like the 2s and 12s, which are of course much harder to roll, if they ever get a double, they move way farther. So all of a sudden you have this kind of, you know, this long shot horse who's in the lead and stuff. And as this is going on in real time, as these horses are progressing, you can place bets on the various outcomes. You know, who you think is going to win, you know, with better odds. You know, it's going to pay out less if you vote for the 7 because they are more likely to win than the 10s and, you know, 12s and things. There's all sorts of kind of like prop bets you can do, which is saying, I think all of this color horse are going to be further ahead than all of these kinds of horses and stuff, and they have different payouts. And then once, you know, 3 horses finish the race, so you have your first, second, and third place, the race ends, and then we pay out, you know, everyone who had successful bets. There is the ability to lose a little bit of money, but it's mostly like, did you make your bets or not? And what is really cool is that kind of real-time nature, because there comes a point in the race where no more bets can happen. It is too late on, you have too much information, and now we just have to see how it goes. There's 2 things that are really fun. As a race progresses, all of a sudden one horse races forward, and you see people getting up to throw down bets on that horse. You're like, whoa, this horse that is not really very likely to win, meaning if I make my bet, I'm going to get paid out big, is starting to lead, so they throw things down. Once it goes to that point where no one can bet anymore, then it's all you just willing your horses to win, which is like, I think fairly realistic. Like if I go to a racetrack and I bet on a race, I can't help the outcome of that race in any way. I can just cheer really loud and hope that that imbues the horse with energy. So the same thing happens in the game where these horses are getting closer and the person's rolling dice and moving things around, and you just end up out of your seat all yelling at the same time for your horse to win. And it is so fun and silly and epic, and you just get totally wrapped up in it, when in reality it's just a person rolling dice and be like, 4 again, you know what I mean? And it gets so, you know, feverish and stuff. I think it's just a really fun, again, perfect like convention game because you want to get as many people in the game as possible. I love simply playing this game and only running the game and doing payouts, kind of working like the, you know, the bookers or whatever, instead of actually placing bets myself. It's so fun to like announce the horse race. It's great.
Number one is going to be Flip Ships. Flip Ships, the Kane Klanko shouts out, oh my God, Flip Ships is so good. Flip Ships is like a, kind of like if Space Invader was a dexterity game. That's pretty much exactly what it is, where you basically are going to have this little plinth and you're going to have various ships in your color and you are going to be flicking them into this like kind of array of various enemy ships that are coming into Earth and stuff like that. You're all on the same team. And there are, again, going to be these rows of cards that are going to be various different kinds of ships, the kind of Space Invader style. Each round, you go bump, and just kind of move closer and closer to the bottom. If they eventually get to the bottom, they're then going to explode and then damage the city. You can lose by losing too much damage to the city. And there's all these different kinds of ships. Some will have like force fields that will like shield the ships around them. Some are kind of like kamikaze ones where instead of moving two, if they're open in front of them, they'll move all the way down and just immediately explode. And so it's this game where you're like strategically, like literally standing up, one, because of the excitement, and two, because you kind of have to get the right angle, and you're just flicking your discs, your ship discs, trying to land on these cards. If you land on a card, you're going to do damage to it, mostly destroy it. And so you're trying to like get these specific places, and your ships are going everywhere and rolling everywhere. As the game goes on, your ships will also start to gain powers, which is really, really cool. So then you're like, oh, this ship is really good at this, so I'm going to go shoot over here. But the best part of the whole game is when the mothership comes out. The mothership is like a 3D cardboard ship that is open in the middle. And what you're trying to do is you are trying to flick into the mothership. And the mothership is the very back of the whole row. And so you're just like flicking as hard as you can, trying to get out there. And when you hit that mothership and you blow it up, it is exhilarating. It's so much fun. Oh my gosh, I love Flip Ships. Flip Ships is just like, again, it takes kind of a classic trope, that kind of Space Invader, Galaga kind of thing, like kind of moving down, and just turns it into a tabletop game that's so, so much fun. It just puts you on your feet, and it's just so hard to not have a good time with Flip Ships. So those are 10 out of your seat games that create big, big moments. Down in the comments below, let us know what games bring you out of your seat, what games create those massive moments that you remember forever and are constantly making you stand up.
Absolutely. Get those in the comments below. Let us know how you think we did with our personal picks, and we'll see you on the next Top 10.
Bye, everybody.